Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Judy. Today we're going to be talking about the difference between soul, spirit, and God. But before we get started, would you please hit that subscribe button for me and maybe that notification bell? When I'm all done, if what I say is interesting to you or, you think, oh, it's really cool, hit that like button for me too. I think most people know what God is as far as from their experience, their religious experience, or their background. We all picture what God probably is, I think, if we've had any religious background at all. And knowing what God is for me, I'm going to be talking about it from that point of view, obviously. So a lot of people wonder about why I feel the need to talk to this camera about these things. And it really is just because I know there are a lot of people who are seekers, like I was, who are looking for something that kind of touches them as true. No matter what religion they were born into or even have practiced throughout their life, sometimes people are still looking for a few answers. And I think that most of the things I talk about really can fit exactly right in with other religions. Not all. And certainly not everything I say does, but So if you're wondering about soul, spirit, and God, let me break that down for you. So God is, let's just say God is everything. There is not a leaf, a chipmunk, a star, a human that God isn't a part of. A lot of times in religion we think of God as away from ourselves, up there, something attainable that we have to reach to. In my belief, the way I know things to be, God is not away from us. God is a part of us. We are all a part of it. And it is everything. Mostly it's love, which is everything. God is a ton of energy, just all the energy in all of the universes everywhere, anytime. So God is everything and God is love. And those are the two things that I think are really most important. Love is something I have to talk about separately, but it is obviously, because God is love, I'll be talking about God a little bit there too, but that'll be another video. So if you can picture God as everything, then everything must have God within it. Even the smallest piece of dirt. All right. So the two confusing ones are soul and spirit. Since God is everything, we're going to leave God there for a couple minutes. And soul, the way I see it, is the tiniest, smallest little bits of energy that are known, perhaps not even known yet, to man. And I don't really even know what that is. I know there's something smaller than atoms. I know there's something smaller than the thing that's smaller than atoms. Science isn't, I love science, but it's just not something I've studied. So I can't say that I know a lot about what that smallest particle we know is. But the very smallest, tiniest little piece of energy that is something measurable that we have the capability of seeing through some kind of a super microscope, those tiny little things can represent soul. So millions and billions of them, right? And those tiny little things are also a part of everything. And that's because they're a part of God. So it sort of goes both ways, I read an article once that was talking about when they break down to the smallest bit the types of energy, the energy that is life, basically. That when they look at the smallest part, let's say of a leaf, I think it actually was a leaf in the thing. Smallest, tiniest little piece that they can actually look at that's bouncing around, little energy thing in a leaf. And then they look at the very smallest, teeniest, tiniest part of a human being. Those are exact matches. Like there's no difference between them. And they actually did this with a lot of other things, you know, inanimate things we would think they were inanimate, yeah. Make sure I say the right word. Anything that has energy, which is pretty much everything, has the exact same blueprint as everything else. Scientifically, that's pretty interesting. What does it mean to soul? I don't know, but but I think it's interesting. I find it fascinating that these bits of energy are the same. So I guess what that really says to me is that God is literally in everything. You know, in people, of course, and in maybe dogs and cats and lizards and stuff, but also in rocks and dirt and leaves. And God is literally the energy of life. I like that. God is the energy of life. That's a good quote. Soul, our individual, we're just going to use humans for now because we don't want to get into all that other stuff, right? But little individual things that float around inside this thing that is God. But they're individual. And I always compare it to blood cells in a body because it's an easy picture. Of course, it's much broader than that, but that's an easy picture. So we're all part of God, bouncing around, doing our own thing, doing what we need to do. But God is all. Okay. So what the heck is spirit? This is a little bit more a little harder to explain because it's, again, things are so simple or so hard to explain. Okay, so there's soul doing its thing, all these millions and billions of souls just doing their thing, trying to get better all the time, making decisions that hopefully will bring them to that point. And there's God, which is in all of these, and they are in it. And then there's kind of I'm going to call it a communication, a conscious awareness, an energy that's focused, which I'll call spirit. So, almost like your brain talks to your muscles and fingers and eyes and everything and tells them what to do. Almost like that. Spirit moves through us as soul, and I think as everything, but again, we're going to keep with the soul part, you know, the human stuff. So God is all this energy, and so are these individual cells. And the thing that really ties them together, the thread that's sort of woven through all of them, like nerves in a body, is spirit. And I think when we put our attention on getting better, if that makes sense, that spirit becomes something more, something because of our awareness of it. It's not that it actually changes. I think it touches us all the same way, but you know, it's like anything else. If you pay attention to it, it becomes more obvious to you. So I think people who are seeking for an answer, who don't know, they know they're not alone in the universe, but they don't know who the heck's with them. Or sometimes they just feel completely lost. I think those people, those souls, can draw on the energy that connects us all. So if you think of God as everything, love, energy, everything, and you think of a soul as the individual little bits of God that are working their way through the many lives that they're going to live to try to attain some semblance of this, which is God and is within each of us. The thing that ties us together, us as souls, is the spirit, the energy that comes directly from God, that it moves through us to each other. I hope I said that in a way that's understandable. So soul, individual, spirit, that which moves us toward each other, and God, which is all, just love. And they always say that God is all-knowing, but that's because God, every single thing that every human has ever done anywhere, anytime, and maybe what they'll ever do, I don't know if God tells the future. I don't know whether he cares, but, you know, everything we've ever done, just not me, not all my lives and my memories and my things that I've learned, but everything that's ever been learned, everything that's ever been done, every song that's ever been sung, God already knows that stuff because we're a part of it. So the bottom line really is that we need love. We yearn for it. We cry if we think we don't have it. We think we all have love. We can't help it. God's a part of us, and God is love. So all you need is love, really. Once you're aware that you are absolutely unconditionally loved, and no matter what you ever do, say, or think, that won't change. And that love is given to us through the energy that is God, the Spirit. And we as individual souls are connected by that Spirit with love. It's pretty simple. So that's the difference between God, soul, and spirit. It's simple, but a lot to wrap your head around, especially the bigger picture. So let yourself have time to do that. And if something doesn't sound right to you, or you just love what I just said, let me know. I really, really would appreciate it. Okay? And I will talk to you in the next video. Thanks for listening.